The film begins with a couple named Natalie and Matt. They are enjoying some happy moments together. Natalie, who is from Spain, tells Matt that they should move to the US with him since Matt is American. Matt promises that he'll talk to his parents about it and make everything right. Natalie feels happy hearing this, but suddenly the lights in the room start flickering in a strange way. She turns around and sees Matt's dead body lying there. He has been killed in a horrifying manner. She wakes up screaming, realizing it was just a nightmare. In reality, Matt is no longer alive, and Natalie has been left alone. Now she lives only with her unborn baby. She's deeply drowned in grief. From outside, she overhears some women talking, saying that Natalie has gone crazy, that ever since her husband's death, she doesn't go out or talk to anyone. Natalie hears this, but when she looks at Matt's photo, she tells herself it's time to move on. 8 months pass. She is heavily pregnant now and has started working again. As a real estate agent, she visits a huge property that hasn't been sold in years. Locals believe the place is haunted, but Natalie wants to prove it's nothing more than a rumor. The house is massive, with a roof view of the stunning Stainering Mountains. She feels confident she can sell it. While walking through a corridor, she notices a strange button. The moment she presses it, an old elevator creaks open. The house also has a rundown wing that looks like a complete ruin. Natalie begins cleaning and preparing the place, hoping a buyer will eventually show up. Later, she calls her mom, who warns her that she shouldn't be working in her condition. If labor starts now, the baby could come at any moment. But Natalie is still being stubborn. She promised her boss that she would sell the house today. She's the firm's only female agent and also their best performer. Her boss trusts her completely. Later, she goes to the bathroom and suddenly breaks down in tears. Memories of Matt are still with her. His love is still alive inside her. Just then, there's a knock on the door. Natalie thinks it might be a client, but when she opens it, there's no one outside. Worried, she steps out and looks around, but sees nothing. After locking the door and coming back inside, she realizes someone is already there. A man is standing in the house, claiming to be her client. She wonders how he even got inside, but lets it slide. The man says he saw the "for sale" sign outside and came in to check out the place. Natalie starts showing him the house, explaining that it has 2 storage rooms and a solid structure. With a little renovation, it could be the perfect home. But the man seems oddly familiar with the house already. Then he asks her what happened to the previous owners. Natalie hesitates, but eventually tells him the truth, that years ago, a murder took place here, and the killer was never caught. The man reacts, saying he feels their spirits are still wandering inside this house. He insists he can sense something. Natalie grows uncomfortable, but replies that she doesn't believe in ghosts. As evening sets in, she asks the man to leave. He finally goes, and Natalie quickly locks the door. She heads toward her car, but when she tries to start the engine, it won't start. Frustrated, she goes back home and calls a mechanic. The mechanic tells her that he'll be there soon. While waiting for him, she walks over to an old piano and starts playing it. Just then, there's another knock at the door. She checks, but again, no one is there. This time, the air feels strangely heavy, and as she comes back inside, she hears strange music coming from another room. She follows the sound and sees that a music player has turned on by itself. She quickly switches it off. Now her phone rings, and she answers it. But no one says anything. There are only deep breathing sounds on the other end. She asks, "Who is this?" But there's no reply, and the call disconnects. Scared, Natalie goes to the kitchen to get some water. What she doesn't notice is that a dark, shadowy figure is standing right behind her. She has no idea she isn't alone. When Natalie starts to feel something suspicious, she turns around, but no one is there. Just then, the mechanic arrives at the window, and she rushes outside. The mechanic casually asks, "This house hasn't been sold yet?" Natalie, exhausted, says, "Nobody can even find the wiring." The mechanic then says, "I've heard that whoever buys this house ends up dying. That's why no one wants to purchase it." Natalie asks him, "Were you the one trying to scare me earlier?" Shocked, the mechanic replies, "I just got here. and he isn't lying. Then the mechanic tells her something terrifying. He says that someone had cut the car's wiring. It wasn't an accident. It was done on purpose. Suddenly, Natalie starts feeling nauseous. She runs to the bathroom, holds her stomach, and tells her baby, "We'll get through this night together." Meanwhile, near the car, the mechanic is attacked by a shadowy figure and is brutally killed. Inside the house, the lights suddenly go out. Natalie lights a candle and goes down to the basement, where she finds a narrow tunnel she had never seen before. Terrified, she shuts the basement door and comes back upstairs. She goes to check on the mechanic, but he's gone. Then suddenly, she hears a noise from upstairs. Slowly, she climbs the stairs, but again, she finds no one there. Then in the bathroom, the sound of running water starts. She thinks it might be the mechanic. She calls out, but no one answers. She goes over, shuts off the faucet, and steps out. Suddenly, the lights begin to flicker violently, and when they come back on, Natalie walks into the corridor. While in the darkness behind her, someone is hiding. Right after that, a faint melody from a music box can be heard. She moves toward the window and sees a music box placed outside. But before she can do anything, her eyes fall on something horrifying. She sees the mechanic's corpse lying in a pool of blood. Her breath almost stops, and at that very moment, her labor pains begin. Now she's certain there's a killer inside the house, and he doesn't want her to escape. Panicked, she runs toward the attic terrace, trying to climb up and save herself. But the labor pains grow far more intense. She quickly grabs a brick and, for self-defense, heads back inside the house. She calls the old elevator, and as the doors open, the same man who earlier claimed to be a client is standing there. Natalie immediately presses the button, and the elevator begins to descend. But that man runs down the stairs. As soon as the elevator reaches the ground floor, he tries to force his way in and grabs her. Natalie smashes the brick into his face, making him scream and fall down. She presses the button again, but suddenly he leaps forward and slams the elevator shut. Now Natalie is trapped inside. She struggles to force the doors open and climbs out, but her foot gets stuck. Her sandal slips off, and at the very last second, the elevator crashes down. Somehow Natalie pulls herself out of the shaft. She's badly injured but alive. Terrified, she runs outside and gets into her car. But no matter how hard she tries, the engine won't start. She then runs to the man's car, but that too refuses to start. Inside the car, she finds an ID card. The name reads Parker Cutt. But when she sees the date of birth, her eyes widen in shock. It's extremely old. That means something is definitely wrong. As soon as she turns around, that man is standing in front of her again. Natalie freezes in fear and starts running back toward the house. But the man says, "You can't escape me. I know this house 10 times better than you. I've been living here for years, and this is my house. No one else is welcome here." Now Natalie realizes the truth. The previous owners didn't just die in accidents, they were murdered, and the killer was this very man. She locks all the doors and goes to call the police, but the phone line is already dead. She pulls out an old map and finds a secret tunnel that leads out from the basement. Without wasting a second, Natalie crawls into the tunnel. At the end, she reaches a metal gate, but it's so narrow that her stomach gets stuck. Her upper body is already out, but the lower part is trapped. Suddenly she hears a sound. She looks back and sees the man slithering toward her like a snake. Shaking with fear, she pulls herself with all her strength and somehow manages to squeeze out of the gate. She then runs back to the house and reconnects the phone line. This time, she quickly calls the police and begs, "Please, come save me right now." But she doesn't even get a chance to breathe before the killer breaks in again and starts searching for her inside the house. He goes upstairs, not realizing where Natalie is hiding. Just as he lets his guard down, Natalie attacks him. She pushes him out of the window, and they both fall to the ground, losing consciousness. When Natalie wakes up, she sees that the killer is still unconscious. She slowly tries to get up, but there's a sharp pain in her leg. A piece of glass has pierced her foot. She pulls it out, groaning in pain. As she tries to run, her labor pains suddenly start again. After a few hours, when she opens her eyes, there are 2 policemen in front of her. One takes her to the car while the other goes inside the house to investigate. But then she hears a scream. The killer has attacked the officer inside, and when the policeman outside tries to call his partner, there's no response. He locks Natalie inside the car and goes in himself. A few moments later, gunshots are heard. Natalie now realizes that both officers have been killed. Terrified, she starts shaking badly. Inside the car, she notices a shotgun. The car doesn't have the keys, but somehow she manages to twist the divider and pull the gun toward herself. She breaks the car window and climbs out. But now the killer also has a police gun and is coming after her. Running, Natalie makes it to the broken wing of the building. Everything there is in ruins. Amid blood and pain, her contractions begin. She starts giving birth right there, and within a short while, she delivers the baby. She holds the baby in her arms and remembers Matt, the quiet moments they shared, his love, bringing tears to her eyes. In this house of death and fear, a new life has just been born. But she knows she must protect her child at any cost, no matter what price she has to pay. She steps outside and shoots the killer, but the moment she fires, she herself collapses unconscious. When she wakes up, she's in the hospital. The doctor tells her that her baby is safe and even brings the baby to her. But the story doesn't end there. The police inform her that she has to identify the man who attacked her. They tell her that the man is in police custody and in the same hospital. Natalie is brought in for identification, and as soon as she sees him, she confirms that he's the one who killed the cop and tried to kill her. For a moment, she feels like slitting his throat right then and there, but in front of the police, she controls herself. Later, she goes back to her room, and suddenly the alarm goes off. Natalie senses that something is wrong. She goes upstairs and finds both police officers lying dead, and the killer has already escaped. The killer suddenly attacks her from behind and tries to fire his gun, but Natalie manages to dodge. He lunges at her, but Natalie quickly grabs a surgical knife and slashes his throat. She keeps stabbing him until he's finally dead. Holding her child close to her chest, Natalie walks outside, and that's where this terrifying movie comes to an end. A mother who became a killer just to protect her child. But in the end, there's a huge twist. That man was actually living inside the walls of the house, secretly watching people through hidden spaces. Whenever someone came to buy the house, he would wait and then kill them. People thought the house was haunted, but the truth was, there were no ghosts. Just a psychopath hiding in the dark. With this, the story ends here. Let me know your thoughts. Also, subscribe to this channel for more.